Okay, so we talked yesterday a little bit, and I gave you an idea that at the end of this unit, we're going to have our group presentations on a certain punctuation rule. And I haven't given you very many details about that, but we'll get to that. Okay, so yesterday, you took your 20-question punctuation quiz. Now remember, that's not this big test that you're getting graded on and getting a big test grade for not doing well on it, okay? That was to help us get an idea of where we need to group you and that kind of thing with what punctuation rules I want to put you with so that you can present that, okay? So don't get worked up when I'm going to give this back to you, and I'm going to give you a minute to go over it, and then I've got a feedback guide that I'm going to give you, and you're going to fill that out, and then we're going to discuss that, okay? But I don't want you to worry if you missed a lot on something or a different category. I want us to use this, instead of looking at it as a big grade, I want you to look at it as, how does this help me understand my knowledge of punctuation, and how can I use that to improve on that, okay? So I'm going to give this back to you, and what I did was I just marked which ones you got wrong. I didn't put the right answer on there, and I'll explain that when I go over our presentation outline and kind of how we're going to do that, because you're going to go back over these in your presentation. So you're going to go back and find the correct answers. So there's not the right answer, I just marked whether it was wrong or not. But you'll be able to get which categories that you were strong in and which ones you were not as strong in. Okay? So I'm going to give you just 3 or 4 minutes to look through this, and I'll hand out this discussion guide, and then we'll talk through that, okay? And again, just remember, we're using this to build onto learning about these things. I don't expect you to know all these things yet. So take just a minute and look through those. Through that, paying attention to what categories of punctuation you've missed and that kind of thing. And I'm going to go ahead and give out the discussion guide. I want you to go ahead and fill that out and jot some ideas down. And this is just to get you thinking so that when we discuss in just a minute, you'll have some things written. Now notice that on that ranking scale, 1 is the one you understand the best. So 1 is your most confident one, and 5 is your least confident, the one you understand the least. Okay? So look back through your test, use that. Use the results from your test to answer this too. Okay? And we'll take 7 or 8 minutes and be ready for discussion.
Do we fill the whole thing out?
Yes, go ahead and just go through all of it, and we'll take another 5 minutes or so and let you think through that and write some ideas down. Okay, we have about 4 minutes left. We got 3 more minutes. Let's take 2 more minutes. About 45 seconds if you need to wrap anything up. Is everyone finished? Now, keeping in mind that with our discussion, I'm not as concerned about today, about us knowing all the rules about certain things. I'm not gonna quiz you on that today. What we're trying to accomplish today is get an idea of what we need to work on, okay? What are we strong, what areas are we strong in, what areas are we not as strong in, and what ideas do you have about the way that you learn punctuation? I know that punctuation is one of those things that is not always exciting and fun, and kind of like how you thought when I told you we had a punctuation unit, that it's not gonna be real exciting, okay? So we gotta talk about and try to figure out ways that we can make that work for us, okay? So, let's just go through and talk about which ones we were strong in and which ones we may not be as strong in. Brady, which one did you list as your most confident?
Quotation marks.
Why are you most confident in quotation marks?
Because it's normally easy to notify or tell when quotation marks need to be used or when they're being used. Because it's always when someone's talking or when they're referencing when someone talks.
Okay, good. Did anyone else list?
My bad, spoke.
Sure. Did anyone else list quotation marks as their most confident category?
I could've, but it was kinda
Kind of borderline, you feel confident? Which one did you list as your most confident?
capitalization,
Capitalization. Okay, why are you most confident in capitalization?
because we've had so many years where we've had to learn it, because we
Yeah.
started it in elementary school and stuff,
Mhm.
and then, I mean, it kinda just sticks to you, but like on some words, like if you're not sure, then it can kind of hard, you know, but.
Because we've just had so much practice, like, you've been practicing all throughout, and commas and stuff like that, we don't always see. Did anyone else list capitalization as their most, you did, okay? Nick, why did you list it as your most confident?
Like she said, you've done it since like you were really little, so it's kind of like a natural thing. You should know when something needs to be capitalized.
Okay. Good. Kyle?
It's one of the first things you learn
Yeah,
when you're doing sentences.
okay. So a lot of us kind of think that the more we practice with things, the better we are at things, since we've been working with capitalization. And I think quotation marks is one of those things too, that we start at a lot earlier than semicolons and colons. Like, you're not working on that in second and third grade as you are with some of the other things. Okay, so now let's talk about which ones you're least confident in. Kyle, which one did you list as the one that you're least confident in?
A semicolon.
Semicolon, why are you least confident with semicolons?
It's like saying a sentence and then like adding a sentence to it. It's kind of
Okay.
weird.
Knowing when to use it to combine
Yeah.
stuff? Okay, Nick?
I'm just asking, the semicolon like an independent clause.
We're gonna talk about that. I want you to keep these questions in mind, okay? We're gonna cover all those things, okay? Nick, which one would you list as your least confident?
Semicolon.
Semicolons too? Okay, for the same reason, did you have anything you could add to that?
Well, when I just didn't really understand, like,
When to use it and
yeah,
how? I got you. Okay, Billy, what about you?
I put semicolons, I don't even know what they are.
Okay, fair enough,
Like,
that's
I
okay.
know what they are, but like, I don't know the meaning
What?
of
Okay.
them, so I just put, I don't even know what they mean, so.
Okay, Brady, you put semicolons too?
I also put semicolons.
Okay,
I put that, I just didn't know what they were, when they were used or what they were used for.
okay, good. See, this is helpful information. So now we have a really good starting point with what we need to really emphasize and what we may be able to not spend as much emphasis on. Okay, so here's the question that is really, actually, before I ask that question, I'm gonna venture a guess. Is colon somewhere down there on the least confident down there?
Yeah.
The 4 or 5
yeah,
range?
4.
Yeah, four.
Are we all in there? Okay, so colons and semicolons are 4 or 5 for everyone?
Yeah.
Okay, see, these are things that are important to know. Okay, so the question that I'm most interested in, because this helps me and it gives me ideas to help you, how have your teachers in the past taught punctuation, Hillary?
My teachers, they always like, they write it on the board, and then like, last year she told us like, where to put the thingy at, or the punctuation at and stuff like, and then she tried to explain it, but I didn't really like understand it when she was telling it to us, 'cause like, I'd rather be able to see it and do it,
Sure.
and then know what I did wrong. But, I mean, I think it'd be easier for us if we could actually talk about it and, like, not just the teacher explaining it,
Okay,
like, all of us explaining it and stuff.
okay. Anyway, what other teachers have you had that have done things with punctuation?
Well, I had some teachers that did worksheets, that didn't really help me a lot, but at Green Forest, we had smart boards.
Okay,
She would like put up a sentence up there and we'd have to go right where it was supposed to be at and
Mhm.
stuff, and that helped a lot.
that helped, okay, being able to get up there and actually do things with it and mess with the sentence,
Yeah.
okay? Great, how your teachers taught you?
Normally they would like write it down, projector on the board, would like kick out a sentence and be like, this is a prepositional phrase, or,
Okay.
or something like that. They do it on the board.
Okay, Nick, what about you?
The same with my teachers, except for like one of them, she would explain it to us. Miss Call, she would explain some of it to us, and
So we've all had that, go ahead.
In my opinion, this call kind of confused me a lot.
Yeah, 'cause okay, and that's fine. So, we've all had experiences where the teacher gets up there and talks and tells you how to do something, and then you just kind of practice it and then go over it, okay? And I know that I'm guilty of that sometimes too, of just talking too much and not giving you enough experience, which is kind of why I want to do this kind of. And the last question we've got on there, and this is really important. I said I'm interested in other questions, but this is the most important question. What ideas do you have that might help you learn punctuation better? Now, obviously, punctuation is not going to be the most exciting thing that we ever do, but we can make it more engaging. Nick, what do you think?
I said, well, like, take your time in teaching it, like, explain it through all the way, make sure everyone knows it, like, if one of us don't know it, explain it, and, like, say if, like, me or Hillary or Brady didn't know it, you explain it, like, to one of us first, and that person will help us, and you'll help us at the same time to try to get it even with them.
Okay, so we're kind of working together to
Yeah.
help each other. Hillary?
Kind of like what Nick said, so like, or explaining it differently, like, say it one way, but if someone doesn't get it that way, then explain it a different way. Or kind of like, write a sentence or a paragraph without any punctuation, and then let us go up there, or us, write the punctuation on there
Sure.
and stuff.
Okay. What thoughts do you guys have?
We used the board, we never used the board at all, hardly.
Y'all get up and do things, okay? Brady, you got any ideas?
I just said, kind of do what other teachers do, except do it in your own way. But, I'm not gonna be here next week, like, whatever. So, really, it's what they say, not me, just do whatever.
So basically what I'm hearing is that to give you experience in doing these things, okay? Instead of just talking about it, get up there and actually do things and practice with it and do those things, okay? And that is our goal with this presentation. So what we're gonna do next, and tomorrow when you come in, I'll have your group split up, but I'm gonna go ahead and give you that guideline and our checklist for the presentation, okay? So that you know exactly what's coming up, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and talk through it today. I'll go ahead and take your feedback so that I can have your rankings written down, so that I can try to match you with where we need to be. Yes, please write your name on there.
Oh, I need to write my name.
You're just alone in it.
Oh, all right.
Thank you. Okay. So, this is for you to look at, okay? And then I will have my copy, and that's where I will give you the grade on that, okay? So let's just talk about this for just a second, okay? On your presentation, okay, so you're gonna make a PowerPoint presentation or something along those lines that can be Prezi or something like that, but it's gonna have at least 4 slides, okay? Obviously, a really important part of that is that you're gonna teach one of our punctuation rules. Okay, and it sounds like semicolons and colons and maybe commas or something like that will be our points of emphasis, because those are the things that we feel least confident about, okay? So, obviously, a big chunk of that grade will be your ability to teach those things. So tomorrow and Thursday when we're in the library, we'll be researching our rules and preparing our presentation for that, okay? Obviously, we want to have some good looks to that presentation so that we have effective slide layout and transition, okay? And like I mentioned, I didn't give you the grades back on the quizzes that you took, because what's going to happen is I'm going to let you go back and review those, okay? So when you give your presentation, you'll be able to cover those questions that were on the quiz as examples for how we do things, okay? Obviously, it's going to be really important in your groups, and when Julie and Nicole's back, I'll go back over this with her too, to be working in your groups. So we'll have groups of 2, and
Maybe 3.
you'll be working together. Another big part of your presentation grade will be you're going to create your own quiz for your classmates, okay? Now understand that that's not going to be a big test, but it will be just practicing, like you said, you want to practice with being able to answer those questions about those punctuation rules, okay? So we'll create 5 original quiz questions, okay? And another part of that is our engagement, okay? So our working this week, tomorrow and Thursday in the library, and then our engagement with each other's presentations and quizzes, okay? So I want you to have this, so as we go into the library, you're prepared and have an understanding of kind of what direction we're headed, okay? What questions do you have about the presentation or what's expected of you, or?
Can it be more than 4 subjects?
Absolutely, absolutely. And it might have to be because you're gonna review the quiz questions, okay, you'll have to go over the rules. Surely you'll have like a title slide that just says what rule you're going over in your name and that kind of thing.
Could you do multiple title slides? Like, if you, like, when you took it, if you had a problem with like semicolons, colons, and something.
Okay, let's talk about that, because I didn't do a very good job of explaining that. So tomorrow when you come in, I'm gonna have you grouped by a certain category. So one group will have semicolons, one group will have colons, one group will have commas or whatever, okay? However we do that. So you will focus on that rule, and then you're gonna teach your classmates, okay? So like the idea that you brought up, that maybe we teach one person and that person can help their classmates and be prepared for that. So then you're gonna be an expert on that. You're gonna be really good at that certain rule, okay? And when we go to write papers, maybe you're the guy that's gonna help your classmates out and be prepared to do things to help them out on that paper, okay? So you'll have a certain rule that you're gonna focus on, and that will be your main emphasis, okay? What other questions do you have? I covered everything that
Is one of us gonna have to be like by themselves, or are we gonna have like?
Brady will probably be by himself, since he will be finishing out the semester on Friday. That way he can kind of make modifications for him if we need to, since he'll be leaving for this semester. Okay, so, to wrap things up then, make sure that you have everything, kind of backtracking a little bit, make sure that you've got everything finished with, that I have all in order, the fly stuff, so that I can get those ready, because those are coming in. I've got to have those submitted by Thursday.
Wait, what's
Share
the
a grade?
Yes, tomorrow, I'll show you in the library.
What's submitted by Thursday?
Great, semester grades will be in on Thursday.
Oh.
So, all that will be due then. Okay,
Wait,
so
so this is gonna be due Thursday?
Can
this
you
will
go
all
ahead
carry
of
over
this
for you.
stuff for us?
Yes, I will take your quizzes back. That way I can look back over that. Yes, that'll be fine.
I don't wanna lose my stuff.
Okay, and we still have a few minutes, so make sure that we're working on something, doing something quietly.